Welcome to the aftermarket report with Vegas and Jim. Miss Vegas right now is out on a prior engagement and she'll be with us tomorrow. So let's talk about the watch list right now. We have CRON, CRON, X, US Steel, UXIN, Shrimp, PUFXF, ACB, and might mention AMD at the very end. So right off the bat, we're going to talk about CRON. CRON is currently has a beautiful website right now. They have the different brands. They also have here on the press room, and in the press room they have a 2.4 billion strategic growth investment from Materia Group in company, and also I'm pretty sure earnings are coming out this morning at 8:30. So I've been really anticipating for this growth, and I like to play these earning plays. So we might get us a real fast little pullback on it, or we might go ahead and get a big scalp, big jump on it. And I got in this stock Friday, and I'm going to pull up the watch list, or not the watch list, but the chart last Friday. First, I want to pull up the yearly, show you how much this thing's really ran up. We did have a bottom right here at the beginning of last year, right around 512. That's been a real solid support for this trade. It played in a channel up to 512 to about 788 to $8. Then we had a pull back right back here back in August, and then she went ahead and ran up to the new resistance highs where people started getting their interest. And we had another pull back, and I called this out in the room right around $8. It was right around 7, and I've been following this trade for a good 8 months now, so I know it pretty well. I called it to $10. When we hit that 10, it consolidated. It kind of pulled back a lot, and then after that last initial pullback, I had a target raised because the news just kept coming out on this trade, and I noticed that the whole industry was getting very bullish about the time that Canada legalized recreational marijuana use. And then we ran it all the way up, and I called it the $20 target. We hit that $20 target, and then we found resistance right at $25.10, and she went ahead and pulled back in this little channel. So I've always said anything under 20 is a pretty good buy, unless something really, and people, they've tried to short this stock, but they just couldn't get it down under 20 bucks is about all it could do. So Friday, it had a pretty hard sell-off, and let me take up the 20-day. You can see that 24.37 high we had right here, resistance level right around the 23.71, and then she went ahead and Friday, and we had that real rough day where the market sold off to about 400. Dow sold off to 460 points. She pulled back a little under 18, so I got in it after hours Friday at 1943. I'm going to pull up the 5-day, 5-minute, and we'll have a look at it. I don't look like a 5-day, 5 minutes. That's a 5-day, 1-day, 5-minute. So we had that pretty hard sell-off in 2 days in a row from the resistance level of 2150, and then she pulled back, and I was telling the room we got this double bottom. We might as well go ahead and jump in. And then after hours, I was watching Jim Cramer. He's one of my mentors, and first thing he brought up was CRON for a few seconds, and I said, well, I'm going to go ahead and jump in this trade because he mentioned about that big investment of $2.4 billion. And then other people were shorting this stock, thought it would go a lot lower, but yet I'm still very bullish on the trade. So we got down here to about an 1893 low yesterday morning, Monday morning, and I kind of shrugged it off, or I did shrug it off, and right out of the gate we popped up and we ran up to this 2110 area. We had a golden cross right here, which was pretty evident that all the moving averages were right in the right spot. And once this 20 days started to cross down, that was time to get out. So let me pull up the daily 1 minute. You can see where it started crossing down, and that's when you want to realize, because what I have here is the moving averages that I use. I use a lot of different arsenals, but this is my major one when I'm scalping or day trading, and that's the 200, that's the 100, that's the 50, and that's also the 20 SMA. And it followed that 20 SMA all the way up a couple times, touching back at the 50. but still it was very strong all the way up. And I got out of it, the trade, right around this area right in here after we hit that double top. And I should have stuck with it, but you can't tell, especially after what happened Friday, how this market's going to react. And I didn't want to take that chance. So I went ahead and took my profit and got out and made about $176 on the trade. I bought 200 shares at 1943. But we did have a little, what I call 3 solid black crow, or one big old knife right here that dipped on down, and that was another opportunity to get in this trade and scalp it at 2036. She did run up to a resistance level of right around 2077, so that's a good 40-cent bounce right there. And then we pulled back again to that double bottom area, and then she kind of just hovered at that support area down here. So I'm excited to see what earnings are going to look like on this trade come Monday and or tomorrow. Here's the 3-minute where all the moving averages kind of bunched up together, and the time frame changes the position of these moving averages. So I always try to stick to the 1 minute on a daily when I'm watching the stock during the day. The next one we're going to talk about is going to be X, U.S. Steel. Now, I do believe that we're at a bottom on this trade with the China tariffs coming on, and I think they're starting to get tightened up to where there's something's going to happen real soon. And U.S. Steel took a pretty good dive after the trading war started, and it's been almost a year now, pretty close to it. So I'm going to pull up the yearly chart on U.S. Steel. Take me 1 second to draw that letter X in here. And here's the daily 1 minute. We're going to take it to a year. We did have a 39.23 high, had a triple top. Then she finally pulled down, hit a low down here around 17.09, bounced up to that $24 area, 23. I'm going to go ahead and draw me a little trend line right in here at 24.40. Then we're going to pull her up to a day. You see how the 20 days started crossing down here, and we had that hard sell-off. It lasted for about 2 weeks, but I think that's over with. We come up to a double top, and we pulled back down to that support level. Then we created a doji Friday, or yesterday. We created a little doji right here. So I do believe this is going to bounce back up. I do believe we had a double bottom, and we're going to bring it to a daily 1 minute, or daily 20-day. Look at it from this 24 perspective, right around $24 to $24.40 in 20 days. And right now we're at 1932 after hours. So let's bring it up to 1 minute daily. I'm going to slap that on there. We did have a bump after hours. It was mentioned on CNBC last night on the stock channel. So that kind of caught my attention also. And I'm going to draw me another. Well, there's a couple spots in here. You got that one right there. Then you got this support level right here, right around 1910. You see how it closed right there at 1910. And we hit that little bottom right there. And that's about where she broke out Monday morning. She dipped on down to hit that low support of what I call 1883. It actually hit 1876, and we had that double bottom close into the day, and she bounced up to 1943. So I think this thing can run up to $24 pretty easily, and this is going to be a swing trade, and I'm going to be looking at an options play, and that's going to be X. The next stock we're going to talk about is going to be a China play. It's a car sale industry. It's had a pretty good little run here. We've had a couple good runs on this stock. I've been watching this stock for a good while now, and we're going to pull up the first we're going to pull up the year. Take a look at the year. We had a yearly high up here of around 1049. I'm going to draw me a little resistance level right there, because that's what I want to do. And then we ran this, me and Vegas started talking about this about 4 or 5 months ago, right at $3. We took this ride all the way up to almost $10. It did hit a good 987. So I'm going to draw me a trend line right there at 987. but I have a support resistance level up here at 956. There's no way we're going to run up that high, but maybe if this China war gets all cleared up, the tariff war, we can bounce back up to these old resistance levels right in here. 517. Then we got another one right here, right around the 536 area. But earnings came out, and then she sold off pretty hard, and I thought, to my position, I thought they were pretty good. And you can see the volume has picked up big time over here. And the news dropped. I think what made the stock drop here is that they were starting to get, the government was starting to invest in, that's about the time that stimulus package came out, and they had a special bill in there for electric cars. So they're starting to get eco-friendly over there in China, and they're really been pursuing the electric car industry, and that includes UXIN, Nile, Candy, a lot of these small FUV. There's just a lot of small little car sector that you want to get you a good watch list going. But she did pull back after the earnings report, and we hit that low support level that I really have called out before in the room, and that's right around this 330 area. We have gone below it just a little bit, but not much. 320. We had a low on. Called it also out in the room. So let's bring this up to daily 1 minute. We hit that 333 twice. And I think actually we hit it 3 times. So we're going to pull up the 5 day, 5 minute. We hit it down here Friday. We had that sharp sell off from this 368 all the way down to this 333 area. And then she went ahead and kind of did a little roller coaster ride and broke out Monday morning up to the 350, which was my resistance level that I called out in the room. And then she pulled right straight back down here, and we had another opportunity to get in this trade. It did have a trend line that rose right above here, and I'm going to draw that out right now for consistency. Trend line pattern. We'll bring that right there. Oh, come on. Being real stubborn here. And we'll put that right about there. So we did pull back to that support channel, that 200 day right there at 341 after hours. We're going to pull up the daily 1 minute to where you can get a better look at it. And we did finally close at 343, it looks like, right in here. So I do believe as stock pulls back down here to 333 again, it's going to be a good buy. But I've got different trend lines that I might hit on this stock and do a scalping investment on until she starts rising again. And if that tariff war does get finalized, this thing can run back up to that $5 area. But for right now, it's going to try to find a little channel. And this is going to be UXIN. The next one I'm going to discuss will be shrimp. The most consumed product out of the ocean is shrimp. I don't know if anybody knew that, but that's a fact. And we're going to take up the 1 year, and we're going to look at the website first. This is not a very fancy website, but they do have technology where they're raising shrimp in farm beds, and it's been patented. And we ran this stock all the way from 2 cents up to 95 cents. And so I've been watching it ever since. I don't ever let these good charts get off my watch list. And there's CRON, take that, there's shrimp. So we took this trade from 2 cents all the way up to 95, 94.9. And then she had a real sharp sell-off in a couple of days, found support level right around the 23 area, and bounced up and hit that 60. So here we are. We're going to pull this chart up to the 20-day. We're going to have a real good look at it. There's that 62.90 area. She's pulled out pretty sharply here. Not real sharp, but she definitely pulled back to that last time it hit the 17.59. I didn't get in it, but I regret not getting in it because I didn't catch it. But it did run up to the 30-cent area. And then here we are back down here again, and I got in this yesterday for a small scalp. Made $50 on 5,000 shares. I was actually up about 120, and I should have took my profit then, but then I just watching everything else, and she pulled back, and I said, I'm going to go ahead and take my profit and then maybe get back in it again today. So we're going to look at the 1 minute. Got a support. Well, it's been very difficult. I'm going to take this off here, and I'm going to put that back on there. So we did get in. I did get in here at 1866 on this pullback. It ran all the way up to 21 cents, and then she kind of just, volume kind of slacked off right in here and started picking up at the end of the day. And if I'd have held it, I could have probably kept it there right under 20 cents. And I do believe this stock has a couple of resistance levels that we can hit. And I'm gonna, if it does pull back any, I'm gonna get back in it. And we're gonna look at the 5-day. I've got different. You can stop this video at any time. Copy and paste this chart if you like for resistance and support levels. And I see another resistance right there. I'm going to put in right at 22.39. So I got in this stock. I scalped it. We got another support level right in here, but I'm not going to right about there, but at 1972. So if this stock pulls back anywhere down here around this 866 level, I might jump right back in it and ride it out for another day and see if we can't get back up to these resistance levels up here. I'm thinking right around the 2480, 2384, the 2712, or even the 3041, and it could run even a little bit higher if it breaks that 30 cent resistance. This is shrimp. Keep it on watch. It's one I've had on watch ever since the breakout, and I'm real good at playing these pullbacks. So that's another one I want to talk about right now is one that's really caught my interest, and that's a 2.2 million square foot greenhouse, and there is a supply and demand problem with the medical marijuana and also the legal marijuana with the CBD oil that's coming out. People, that don't like to smoke like that CBD stuff. I do believe it is a time-changing experience for the market itself. It's here to stay. But this stock we're going to talk about right now is called PUFXF. PUFXF, and they do have fully funded now. Their greenhouse is fully funded, so I'm not too concerned about any kind of offering or anything. But listen, they have a 2.2 million square foot greenhouse to grow the demand that they need for this sector in the marijuana field. And let's pull up the chart. This is a huge deal to me, and I've been watching this sector for about 10 years. So we're going to type in this ticker, PUFXF. I have a support level right down in here between this little channel of 47.85 and 49.47. We did touch back at that at the end of the day. Let's look at the yearly chart real fast and get a good look at it. We did have a double top area up here right around the 119 area. We did have a 125, and she did pull back sharply, bounced back up, and then she had a real hard sell-off right here. Not sure what happened back then. I might look that up, but we did hit a low of 9 cents, and ever since then she's bounced on up. We hit a resistance level of 60.08, and then she fell back into my little channel of support right here. So I'm going to keep this stock highly on watch. And let's pull up the daily 1 minute, just kind of see what the moving averages are telling us. It's a slow mover. It's not a real big heavy mover. There we go, the 5-day. So we had a 63.97 high right here. She pulled back into this little channel, and then she bounced up. She pulled back in this channel again for yesterday, two times, and bounced back up to this 52 cent area. So I think this is a good scalper. I'm going to be watching it for another pullback maybe, if I can get in on. We did jump below the moving averages, so that's okay with me. I like to see these moving averages turn around. But this is going to be PUFXF. I just like to keep it on watch. going to go ahead and probably get me a small investment on it. I do believe in the long run this stock is going to be a big runner, especially when they start. It's fully funded, which just came out in the news yesterday, and to me that was a very good sharp interest that this stock's going to go back up again. That's PUFXF. And along with this one, I also alerted ACB first thing in the morning, and that's a Aurora Cannabis, medical marijuana stock. And everybody knows about ACB. They know that Nelson Phelps is now involved in this company. He's going to be one of their top. He's welcome to the board. He's a very well-known billionaire. He has a hedge fund. So we're going to pull up this chart. I'm going to take a drink of water. Excuse me. We're going to go to ACB. It has had a pretty good 4-day sell-off. After the news came out, it ran all the way up to 1038, the 5-day chart, followed this resistance trend line down, broke below it, and that was an opportunity to jump in this trade. And then Monday morning, I mentioned it, and we had a good little breakout first thing in the morning, and then she pulled back and run into these moving averages. So let's pull up the 1 day, 1 minute. We have a support level right here at 881, a low support. She ran all the way up to about 948, along with CRON and a few other ones. And then she kind of pulled back the rest of the day and kind of fizzled out. The volume was pretty good first thing in the morning, and then it kind of fizzled out at the end of the day. So after hours, we're right here at 924. I do believe this stock can pull back to this $9 area again, maybe hit this trend line. And I like to see it keep above this trend line for the rest of the week. And this is going to be ACB. Let's try to break that $10 and see what happens when the new buyers come in on this trade. And it also pops up with good news all the time, same as CRON does. And that's going to be ACB. And then the last trade we're going to look at is going to be AMD. AMD has had a pretty good little sell-off. This is the website of AMD. They're involved big time in the gaming industry, and they do have this Radeon CPU for the computers. But I'm very bullish on this trade right now. I have been ever since I called it out at $10. We're going to pull up. Let me change the ticker on here, AMD. Now look at the year chart first. Called it down here right around $9. It was a little bit higher, a little under 10. Right about in this area here where the breakout started to happen. So she has run, and she did have a run up to $30, which I had a target for. We hit 34.14. It has pulled back a couple times to that 200 SMA, and we did here right here a couple weeks ago. We also hit that 200, which was a strong buy right around 21.17. So let's pull up the 20-day, 1 hour. Last week it had that great news about the gaming industry, and she ran all the way up to about 28.11, and then now she's pulled back to that what I would call almost a head and shoulders pattern, where you have the neckline right about in here, right about the 26, I'd say the shoulder line right around the 26.39 area, and then she had pulled back to that 100 SMA, and now she's hovering right into, I would say, a pretty good little spot. I'd like to see it pull back a little bit more for a re-entry, maybe around the 25.50. So let's pull up the daily, 1 minute. We did hit that 25.54 right into close Friday, and she's bounced up after hours to 25.94. Now this needs to consolidate into a channel, and I do believe that channel is going to be right around the 25.50 to the 26.42 area. And if we can get that, then we're going to start breaking up again, getting up to that $30. I got a $30 target on AMD, and I do believe we can hit that. So this concludes the watch list for today, Tuesday. I'm up early in the morning getting this thing out. It's right now, it's Midwestern time. It's about 3 a.m. And Vegas will be with us tomorrow or tonight when we do the next aftermarket report. And I want to wish everybody a good day. Please follow us on our website. Come to our chat room, subscribe, hit the subscribe to our YouTube channel and ring that bell for future updates. We do have a YouTube page on here that you can always go to, and it pops up our next YouTube video, our aftermarket report. Then we have a Facebook page also that we just started. We're connected to Stocktwits, which we really love, and we do have even a store where you can buy some merchandise in. So this is I Love Stocks. We want to wish you a great trading day come Tuesday morning. Keep a good eye on CRON for them earnings. Watch UXIN Shrimp, PUFXF with that $2.2 million square foot grow room. We got ACB hovering at support level. And then AMD also has been a real good momentum play for all of us. And that's one that you want to keep on your watch list also. And this is the aftermarket report with Vegas and Jim. And we all love stocks. And thank you very much.